this is a great middle of the day for me. You know, some people drink coffee at this time. I come and hang out with students. Bang.
So as you know, this is Andre, a Tony winner for Hadestown. He's been in many Broadway productions, including Ain't Misbehavin', Play On, The Wiz,
The Full Monty.
The Full Monty. Tony nominee for that, and currently in
And
Death
it was
of
a
the
Full
Salesman.
Monty.
And Death of the Salesman, and he's also a phenomenal classical actor. And I've had the privilege of seeing him As You Like It in the Hamptons, but also flying all the way to St. Louis to see Carl Caulfield's production of King Lear, where you played the titular role.
The titular role, yeah.
And in the interest of telling the Shield story, but I have one that I treasure, which is I saw Andre in Ain't Misbehavin' when I was in high school, and knew him to be a phenomenal performer. And then about 15, 20 years later, I worked at a theater in Philadelphia as an associate artist, and they said, "What are you thinking of this show with Andre Shields?" And I said, "Well, you can't do better than that." And they said, "Yeah, but he's playing a one-man show as Louis Armstrong. Would you come and take a look and see if you want to direct it?" And I said, "Well, does he play the trumpet?" And they said, "No." And I said, "Well, that's a neat trick for a one-man show of Louis Armstrong." But he had a video. It was called Ambassador Satch, of an earlier iteration, and I saw maybe 5 minutes of it, and it was a life-changing moment because I said, it doesn't matter. Because Andre is as talented at what he does as Louis Armstrong is talented at what he did. So the audience will buy his level of artistry from Jump Street, and they did. And it was a wonderful experience, and like everything he touches, it was the full penalty of the theatrical arts.
And the life and artistic lesson to learn from that is, do whatever it takes to please your audience. That was Pops's motto.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And people believed, not that I was Louis Armstrong, but that I was channeling his attitude about happiness to them.
Theatrical arts.
And the life and artistic lesson to learn from that is, do whatever it takes to please your audience. That was Pops's motto.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And people believed, not that I was Louis Armstrong, but that I was channeling his attitude about happiness to them.
So let's go to Baltimore, maybe? Your beginnings as a theater artist?
Well, how much time do we have?
I don't know. Let's just talk and see where we go.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah. Is there anything on your hearts? Because we were supposed to start at 2.
That's okay.
But
is there anything you want to say? Is there anything you want to say in introduction, and then we can open it up? Do whatever you want.
all right, this is what I'd like to say. Perhaps you're familiar with my Tony Award acceptance speech. Are you?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to repeat it simply because this experience that I just had put it right at the tip of my mind and my heart because of the second cardinal rule. Slowly is the fastest way to get to where you want to be. And getting here today had so many impediments, but it clarified to me what the second cardinal rule is. Now, the first cardinal rule is surround yourself with people whose eyes light up when they see you coming.
Oh.
It happened, right? The third cardinal rule is the top of one mountain is the bottom of the next. So keep climbing. Now, quick illustration. What's the highest elevation on the planet Earth? Anybody?
Mount Everest.
What?
Mount Everest.
Mount Everest, yes. What's the lowest elevation? Mariana Trench. Oh.
I've been telling you, it's NYU.
Okay, so today is the turnaround on my journey up. I now have to climb the descending mountains. That's the first thing that occurred to me when I finally was in the car bringing it here. There are mountains that go that way. Okay? The other clarification I experienced that I knew for myself, that I want to share with all of you in case you wonder about it, it is not slowly is the fastest way to get to where you want to go. It's where you want to be that is achieved the most efficiently if you are a tortoise. Okay. Now, anything on your hearts?
So let's go to Baltimore, maybe your beginnings as a theater artist.
Well, how much time do we have?
I don't know. Let's just talk and see where we go.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything on your hearts? Because we were supposed to start at 2.
That's okay.
But
Well,
at,
is there anything you want to say? Is there anything you want to say in introduction, and then we can open it up? Do whatever you want.
all right, this is what I'd like to say. Perhaps you're familiar with my Tony Award acceptance speech. Are you?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to repeat it simply because this experience that I just had put it right at the tip of my mind and my heart because of the second cardinal rule. Slowly is the fastest way to get to where you want to be. And getting here today had so many impediments, but it clarified to me what the second cardinal rule is. Now, the first cardinal rule is surround yourself with people whose eyes light up when they see you coming.
Oh.
It happened, right? The third cardinal rule is the top of one mountain is the bottom of the next. So keep climbing. Now, quick illustration. What's the highest elevation on the planet Earth? Anybody?
Mount Everest.
What?
Mount Everest.
Mount Everest, yes. What's the lowest elevation? Mariana Trench. Oh.
I've been telling you, it's NYU.
Okay, so today is the turnaround on my journey up. I now have to climb the descending mountains. That's the first thing that occurred to me when I finally was in the car bringing it here. There are mountains that go that way. Okay? The other clarification I experienced that I knew for myself, that I want to share with all of you in case you wonder about it, it is not slowly is the fastest way to get to where you want to go. It's where you want to be that is achieved the most efficiently if you are a tortoise. Okay. Now, anything on your hearts?
And then we'll open it.
Yeah.
Since I gotta get my picture.
Ah!
So the John McWhorter, who writes in the Times,
Mhm.
he writes, I don't know if you read him on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, he writes a lot about race and the arts, I think in a very interesting and compelling way. And he said something, friends or acquaintances who were black actors in the late 70s, and they said the only jobs they could get was being in Ain't Misbehavin'. And you were in Ain't Misbehavin'.
Yeah.
Is that an I mean, when you kind of made your mark, because you did The Wiz in 75 and Ain't Misbehavin' 77, 78. Well, was that landscape like, and was he right about that?
Yes, he's absolutely right about that. There's so much to say about this, but let me choose the low-hanging and ripest fruit. One, in the 70s, we had not done away with, what's the political term I'm looking, affirmative action. And in the arts, in order to get grants, an institution had to show that they were invested in, what's the other word?
Diversity.
Right now. Well, no, it wasn't even diversity then. Non-traditional casting. But institutions do things on percentages. If you actually count, it doesn't qualify. So, Ain't Misbehavin' is a show that is performed by 5 African American performers. If you are a regional institution and you do 4 shows a season, and one of your shows is Ain't Misbehavin', 25% of your season is non-traditional. Oh, here's the money. You're doing the right thing. So that's one of the reasons. Percentages. The other reason is, right after The Wiz, we did Ain't Misbehavin'. The Wiz opened the door to commercial artistic success for people of color, followed quickly by Ain't Misbehavin'. All of a sudden, there's an embarrassment of riches for people who have been holding their dreams and epiphanies close to their vest so that they would not be sullied by, number 1, those who would oppress them, and number 2, those who would ridicule them for having such lofty dreams. 3, there were artists like Andre DeShields who would blaze a trail and leave evidence, leave breadcrumbs. You know, put a mark on the north side of the tree so someone following in his wake can follow the trail. Artists like Andre DeShields who would open a door and leave it open so that those who wanted to get in could. What did James Brown say? Oh, we all know what James Brown said. Come on now. What? Well, yeah, I'm blocking on top, but he said, I don't need nobody to give me nothing. Open up the door. What? I'll get it myself. That's what James Brown said. Just open the door. I can do the rest. So that's part of my mission as an artist, hyphen activist. That's the other thing that happened in the 70s. It is not enough to be an actor.
Yeah.
You have to be an actor activist. Why? This is what the pandemic has indicated. Because at some point in your career, your resume is going to become what? Irrelevant. Oh, I love that. Do that. Stand up and do it when I say it. Stand up and demonstrate. Because, no, wait a minute, I'm going to set you up. I'm going to set you up. Ready? This is what the pandemic taught us. At some point in your career, your resume will become them started. Do it tonight or whenever you get that first opportunity. Start working on your curriculum vitae. That's what got me through the pandemic. Oh, Broadway's closed? What are you gonna do? I'm gonna continue to work. I'm not gonna pretend that I'm a bear, you know, and just start eating myself. What did people do during the pandemic? Start baking bread, eating it, and going to bed. That's what bears do. For 6 months they have to store fat, because they're gonna hang out for a while. That's not what humans do, right? So, the production, no, Larry, I know this is. I know, I tell them when I just at the theater, I tell them, I say, you all look alike. No, but I know this is Laurence Maslon. This means his reference to King Lear. So people said, Andre, what are you doing? I said, I'm going to St. Louis. What's in St. Louis? I'm going to perform as Lear at the St. Louis Shakespeare Festival. What? There's work? Of course there's work. Yeah, of course there's work. It's not gonna walk up to you and say, hey, I'm work. You have to create your opportunities. And once you create your opportunities, you have to exploit your opportunities. And once you exploit your opportunities, you have to leave the lesson to be learned available to everybody else. One other thing about the 70s, or many things about the 70s, but one other thing I'd like to share with you about the 70s. I did my undergraduate work at the University of Wisconsin, and in the final semester of being an undergraduate, I got my first professional gig, which was hair, in Chicago. Tom O'Gorman, the whole schmigay. I appealed to my advisor and my faculty members that this is what I want to do. Long story short, they got together and said, you can't keep this young man from his dream. So they allowed me to do my last semester as independent study. But I had to do the work, I had to come there, take the examinations, have to turn in the papers and so forth. But when I graduated, I was on stage. They said, well, you know, you can't get your diploma. I said, that's okay. Send it to me. I'll be on stage and I'll pretend that it's my commencement. And I'll be doing hair. Now, I bring that up because, why did I bring that up?
You were talking about the 70s.
Yeah.
And you
Oh, yeah, thank you. I bring that up because I had wanted to continue my higher education, but my professional career kicked off, right? So, stop for a moment with the higher education. My professional career brought me to New York. Fast forward to Ain't Misbehaving. In the 70s, when indeed, if you're a black actor, Ain't Misbehaving is on your resume and you can do it for the rest of your life. We won the Tony for Best Musical in 1978. 10 years later, the entire original company came back together, right? I'm thinking, now, that's 78, 10 years later is 80. I'm thinking, am I going to do Ain't Misbehaving for the rest of my life? I can. It's possible. I could have done, you know, I did it in Paris, I did it in Tokyo, I did it in London, I did it in Alaska, LA, San Francisco. And I think, wait a minute, is that the artist I'm going to be? A one-trick pony? Now, part of my mission is an African proverb: pursue knowledge from cradle to grave. And that's when the light bulb went off. It's not about doing the 10-year anniversary of Acres Bay. It's about being in New York again and earning enough money to pursue your higher education, which is knowledge of yourself. That's what higher education is, knowledge of yourself. And that's when I returned to the pursuit. It brought me to the Gallatin Division of New York University. I did my 8 shows a week on Broadway. Took a full course load, right? My advisor said, oh, you can't do this. And I said, watch. Right? I did it, right? My professor of Shakespeare, John Carroll, had to take a medical leave of absence. And the dean came to me. I'm a student now, but I'm also these other things. The dean came to me and said, we want you to take over the class. So I'm no longer a student, I'm now an adjunct professor in the Gallatin. So what I'm saying is,
Wow.
so, the 70s. So I got my master's of arts, right? Started in '88 working on Broadway, received it in '91, and then continued as an adjunct professor until it started to kick my butt because you know, the 8 shows and TVs, all that sort of stuff. So I went to the provost and I said, I need a raise. And the provost said, we hired you at the highest, you know, level. I said, okay, good, because I didn't want to feel guilty about walking out of the students. I said, good, I quit. I'm an artist, not a teacher, that kind of thing. And that's the 70s.
Into the 80s.
Yeah, into
Now,
the 80s.
I have a quote that I came across of yours yesterday. This is something that when we interviewed you for the Broadway documentary in 2000 maybe, 2002. And you talked about the Wiz, but I think it's relevant to something else in your life now. And I'm sure you'll wrap it up in a bow, as you do beautifully. You talked about the Wiz. The Wiz dared to take white mythology, white genius, white brilliance, and ask Judy Garland, can you improve upon her? Can you improve upon the Wizard of Oz? Yes. If you want to take it from another point of view, an Afrocentric point of view. The Wiz said, this belongs to us too. This whole concept of there's no place like home, of depending on the magic inside your heart to achieve personal success, we claim that too. Right? So that was 1975 with the Wiz. Now you're in another classic on Broadway, Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman.
And I can use that same quote, except drop in Death of a Salesman. Okay, this is the beauty of being an artist. We understand that not only do we understand, we crave perspective. And perspective is everything. Everything. So when people ask, why are you doing a black Death of a Salesman? I say, we are not doing a black Death of a Salesman. we are doing Death of a Salesman, in which the Lohman family is black. That's flipping the script, as we call it, right? That's flipping the perspective. That's asking this question. Everybody can sell the American dream, but who can own it? Who can own it? And you can only get that answer from that demographic of society who has been traditionally marginalized to its edges. Because we tell the truth. Because we have nothing to lose and everything to gain in that vertical capitalist routine. So when you perform Death of a Salesman, and the Lohman family is African American, he is black, you now understand. First of all, let me go back to the Riz. You are now universalizing the message. Because when you put it in the mouth of the person that you would oppress, it now becomes what? Oh, I love it with the hands again. What? When you take something that is elite and pristine and exclusive, and then you put it in the hands and the mouth of someone who has never tasted it, it becomes what?
Empowering.
What's it?
Empowering.
Empowerment. I'll take that, empowerment, but what else does it become? Universal, yeah. It becomes universal. It becomes universal. And that's the whole ballgame. That's the fight we're having right now, as a matter of fact. Right? So when Stephanie Mills, at 15, young colored church-going girl, wouldn't go anywhere without her mother, said that, she didn't say the specific line, but delivered that message. Oh, Auntie M, there's no place like home. Every young person claimed it because they could finally understand it. There's no place like home. Wait a minute, I come from a home where my father beats my mother. What are you talking about? You know, or whatever the situation is. Or even flip that script. You can go home again, right? It's all about releasing the imagination, which is the most powerful tool we have other than love. Because if you can't first imagine it, you cannot make it manifest. That's what I believe. And I'm only sharing with you what I believe. I don't give advice. You know, when 9/11 happened, we all bought into, if you see something, say something. I believe if you know something, share something. So I'm only sharing with you what I know, what I've experienced, what I have tested, and what I am evidence that it works. So now our audiences for Death of a Salesman, that used to be the exclusive domain of white actors and white audiences, are bringing in an intergenerational, multicultural audience. And eyes are popping, minds are being opened. I'll tell you what's happening, because this is why people go to the theater. We only have 3 temples left. The church. Well, maybe, okay, if I'm going to do that. No, because we're into such political identification now. There are four temples, but the church, the temple, the mosque, and the theater. Right? And people congregate in those places for the same reason. Right? Run 5 questions. What? Who, what are they? The 5 questions, yeah. What?
The who, what, when, where, why?
Yes, only 4 questions. Right? If you answer who, what, where, when, why, you never have to ask how. People try to throw that in there, how? No. Who, what, where, when, why? Answer those questions, and you are home. And that's where everyone is headed, home. You to your home, you to your home, I to my home. But you cannot find, okay. Anybody here to Thomas Merton, Cistercian monk, beautiful writer, great essayist. You know Thomas, you're hip to Thomas Merton? So you can testify that what I'm about to say is absolutely brilliant, right?
Yes.
Okay. Beautiful writer, brilliant essayist, but as a Cistercian monk, he's a Jesuit, so he's taken a vow of poverty. So he cannot reap the monetary benefits of his writing, filthy lucre, right? It goes to the church. That's fine. As a monk, all you need is your cell, your candle, your pencil, your paper, your porridge. That's all you need.
And the Bible. In the Bible?
Okay. Because if they take the Bible from you, it must live
In you.
All right, I teed that up.
Okay. Thomas Merton. It is not humility to live someone else's life. It is as if you were saying, you know better than God who you are or who you ought to be. How can you find your way to your home if you take the road to someone else's city? Dun-dun. And that's what we do all the time. How do you expect to achieve your perfection by living the life of someone else? Humility is to be who you are in a dark place, absolutely alone. And that's why the gods sent the pandemic to us, because we do not know how to be in a dark place, absolutely alone and content. We got so frightened because we don't know how to be alone with ourselves. We're frightened of ourselves. Everyone's talking about, oh, I'm so frustrated, I'm so stressed out, I don't know what to do. And then started using and allowed the politicians to misuse these terms, existential crisis. You don't know anything about an existential crisis. Simply because you are faced with doubt doesn't mean that you are experiencing an existential crisis. If that's what you think it is, then you need to go home and listen to Peggy Lee. Right?
Is that all there is?
Is that all there is? Right. That's how she got with it. If that's all there is, then let's keep dancing. Let's keep drinking. That is not an existential crisis. An existential crisis is when you find yourself perched capriciously on the precipice of the abyss and you are afraid to jump. That is an existential crisis. Because why? You must jump. Because why? Only one of two things will happen. You will either sprout wings and fly, or the net will appear. There's no such thing as a bottomless pit. You jump into the darkness to find the light. That's why there's a sunrise and a sunset, people. Because there's truth in darkness, just as there is truth in light. That's why we have a shadow. Because at some point you have to deal with the truth that's in the darkness that accompanies you every waking day of your life. And if you avoid it, then you end up with pandemics.
Can we open it up?
Oh, you can shut me
Yeah, you know.
Did I misrepresent Thomas Merton? Thank you.
I certainly want to continue for a while, and your teachers know all that. So, any questions? Anything you want to ask on here? Open it up.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for being with us today.
Oh, thank you for allowing me to be
It's
here.
an honor. I'd love to hear you talk about working with Ellen Stewart at La Mama, and how I feel like something that's really remarkable about your career is like your presence and impact in downtown, and your like eminence on Broadway, and how you think that has influenced both places, or if you consider that a binary at all.
Okay.
And then I'd just love to hear about Ellen Stewart.
I got you. But listen, I cannot illuminate what your professors are already putting on your plate. So I'm not going to talk about how to get an audition, how to find an agent, or anything like that. I'm here to share with you the essence of stoicism. No. Listen, which is nature is rational. We are not. We're irrational. We're crazy motherfuckers. Right? But that's, we have a good time beating that. But nature is rational. Now, Isaac Newton said, what? Come down for every action that has to be equal and opposite reaction. Right? That's what nature is trying to remind us. Right? If you do not cooperate with me, guess what? You can't win this game. It has to be a collaboration. It has to be a collaboration. When I came to New York, I was with Organic Theater Company in a piece called WARP, W-A-R-P. If you don't know about it, you should Google it.
I'll tell you all about it.
Okay.
I still have the poster.
Good. Well, we were a DIY, and that was invented in Chicago back in the 60s, We were a DIY company from Chicago that had gotten picked up by an enterprising producer who thought he could make a quick buck with us hippies, and I'm an unreconstructed hippie in my heart. Give love a chance, right? You can end war if you want to, and all that delicious stuff. So we came here with our show, and we were summarily dismissed by the critics. Clive Barnes, as a matter of fact, said, what are we going to do with these dirty-foot hippies from Chicago? However, when the company, Organic Theater Company, decided that they would return to Chicago and asked each of the individual members, are you coming back? I said, pick me. I'm not going back to Chicago. Well, why not, Andre? Because I have been delivered to where I want and need to be. At that time, I said, the center of the universe. New York is no longer the center of the universe. It's no longer the city that never sleeps. New York is sleeping all the time. But it is the source of employment.
I'll wait for it.
in the live theater, right? Yeah, New York is napping. Come on. New York is napping right now. And it isn't fast any longer. Look, it took me an hour and a half to get here. So,
6 cars.
right.
Wow.
And everyone has an excuse, right? Oh, the fire truck wouldn't let me stop. Oh, this, oh, that, oh, it's raining. Oh, really? Anyway. The point I'm getting to is, there I was, a Chicago hippie, in New York, without a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. In the 2 weeks that we spent on Broadway in this science fiction show called Warp, Ellen Stewart saw it. And she had an emissary come to me when the show was closed and everything, and said, had an emissary come to me, she wanted to meet me. I went down to La Mama. I wasn't afraid to go down to the Lower East Side because I come from experimental theater. Sometimes people who live south of 14th Street think their nose will bleed if they go to 15th Street. But, so I came down to meet Ellen Stewart, and at that time, this is 1973, she called everyone her monkey. She said, baby, I want you to be my monkey. And I thought, yeah, I can do that. I didn't feel insulted or anything like that. She saw what I was doing in the show. She knew how to jump through hoops and all the things that monkey do, energy, crazy stuff. So I immediately had employment. It wasn't Broadway employment, but I immediately had an artistic home. And that's what she was offering me. An artistic home. You're in New York. What are you going to do? Let me make it more true. I'm in New York. The show I was in closed after 2 weeks. What am I going to do? I've just been offered an artistic home. And I said yes. And Ken Rubenstein, who was one of the artistic associates at the time, put me in his show immediately, and I started rehearsing. But that's what artists do, right? Give me a stage and I'll act, that kind of thing. And from 1973 until 2002, I worked at La Mama every year in some capacity. Not because I thought I owed a debt to Ellen Stewart, but because what the table, she had the dinner she had invited me to, the buffet, thank you, the smorgasbord, the potluck supper she had invited me to was endless. Because what do you do at a potluck supper? And that's what life is, everybody, a potluck supper. Wait a minute, I haven't finished. Life is a potluck supper. Bring your best dish.
Yeah.
And so, it's endless. It is absolutely endless. Because people are, it's the cosmos. We all know that the universe is energy. All the time. Change, explosion, implosion. All the time. Color after color, colors we can't even see. That's why we have that, what's that telescope out there now? No, it's more than a Hubble. What's that?
The James Webb.
The James Webb telescope, right? Sending us photographs of things that exploded billions of years ago, and the light is just reaching Earth. That's my metaphor for working at La Mama. World theater. Ellen Stewart is not the inventor, but the mother of world theater. And she's no longer with us in the flesh, but I even had an opportunity to teach at the La Mama had many appendages, many more than there are now. There was an appendage of La Mama in Korea, in Argentina, in Romania, all of the satellites that left the Soviet Union, Hungary, etc. And when Ellen Stewart received what's the $1 million? The MacArthur Grant, she bought a villa in Umbria. And she turned it into the La Mama School of Orientation. So whenever she invited a company from Korea, for instance, to come and perform at La Mama, they would go to the school in Italy where there would be American teachers to indoctrinate them, orient them to what they were about to experience when they came down to East Wall Street. That's multicultural democracy. Is that, okay.
Let's, yeah.
So hi, nice to meet you.
Hello.
So as a young artist, I feel like we're constantly making decisions and everything feels like a huge decision right now.
Yeah.
And I want to know, is there any advice or any mistakes that you wish you could have avoided as a young artist that you can let us know now?
First of all, I don't give advice,
Okay.
but I can tell you what I know.
Okay.
Second of all, I don't make mistakes. Now, why do I say that? Because everything is an opportunity to learn something. We tend to dismiss mistakes as an unwanted experience that I must regret. No. If you think you are making a mistake, then use your imagination and pretend you're a jazz artist. You're improvising. You meant to play that blue note. And learn the miracle that the note is disguising. Now, I know it sounds a bit glib to say I don't make mistakes, but what I have learned is Again, perspective. If you give perspective to a mistake, it becomes a problem. And then it grows into something insurmountable. It's approach and avoidance, because we try to avoid making a mistake. But the more you avoid making a mistake, the larger it looms on the horizon. So, if you approach the mistake, the problem, the difficulty, the unfortunate event, whatever it is, if you approach it, you will discover that it's porous. And you will discover in that porosity a hole that you can slip through. And then you're on the other side of the mistake, the other side of the problem, the other side of the difficulty. You have to play David and Goliath. Goliath, the big problem is no one can defeat me. Little David, right? Slingshot, pebble, takes him down. You can move mountains.
But can I say something about you that I've
Yeah.
witnessed? I don't recall you ever making a mistake, but I know you are a je ne regrette rien person.
Yeah.
I think I've never seen you regret any choice you made, any pathway you went down, any job you took. You always found, just move forward.
Thank you. Because we are so fortunate to live right now. Because we're part of the generation. Not every generation gets to experience the intersection of history and evolution. And that's where we are right now. And it's frightening people because they've never seen it before. We've experienced history, we've experienced evolution, but not when they go, here you are at the crossroads of evolution and history. The paradigm is changing. The tectonic plates are moving. I feel the earth boom, boom, under my feet, right? The earth is moving under your feet. What am I supposed to do other than serve? Right? It is my experience that if you stop being nostalgic for what we call normal and cultivate a nostalgia for the future, you're going to be all right. The sky is falling, but it's falling into your laps. Now what are you going to do about it? It's falling into your laps. This is your blank canvas. Paint on it. Throw it, meaning, clay in the kiln and all that sort of stuff. Create something. There is something. Now I'm going to point, so I hope you don't think it's rude, but there is something for each one of us to achieve that can only be achieved by, what's your name? Amanda, there is an horizon that only you can discover. And if you don't discover it, it will forever remain undiscovered. What's your name? Andres! Do you know what our name means?
Our name?
Yeah, I'm Andre. You're Andres.
That's true.
Same name. What does it mean?
No sé. Dime.
I don't believe you.
I really don't.
Well,
And there's reasoning, but I want to.
there are reasons why you don't know what it means. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Oh, then I don't want to.
No.
I don't even think-
It has nothing to do with the fact that I don't want to know.
Oh, okay. Okay. In the non-Christian world, it means brave warrior. In the Christian world, it means first chosen. Because the first disciple Christ chose was Andrew. So it means a hell of a lot in any world. Wear it proudly. Yeah. Andres, there is a mystery that you must decode. And if you don't decode it, it will forever remain a mystery. Are you getting my point?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, pursue only those blessings that have your name on it. Everything else is a distraction, regardless of how beautiful or sexy it is. I still answer your question.
I'm listening.
And it spills nothing but abundance. Nothing but abundance. There's no such thing as inadequacy. There's no such thing as lack. There's no such thing as insufficiency. There is enough for everyone. Now, what's the catch? No one take too much. Take what has your name on it and leave the rest alone. You scratching your mustache over there. What's going on? Thank you.
Well, you are a font of cornucopia, as always. We have some.
Are you throwing me out?
No, we have some
Okay.
wonderful teachers. I was going to say we have some wonderful teachers who want to take this group, but I would love you to bring it home.
Okay.
Break it down for us.
Okay, I'm gonna bring it home. Because I know you gotta go. The fuel, F-U-E-L, of the universe is generosity and gratitude. The universe is generous. We must be grateful. You better get them out of here, 'cause I'm just in case some of this is not clear to you, here it is. If you believe within your heart, you know that no one can change the path that you must go. Believe what you feel. I know you're right because the time will come around when you say it's yours. Believe there's a reason to be. Believe you can make time stand still. And know from the moment you try, if you believe, I know you will. Believe in yourself right from the start. Believe in the magic inside your heart. Believe all these things, not because I told